So today's segment is going to be called Trying to Be Useful, where I'm just going to be answering questions, maybe a little storytelling, just trying to be helpful towards people that are creating things, the music creators of the world, which we are all music creators in this world, aren't we? Do you go for the first melody that pops into your head or noodle around for a bit when you have the chords? Much love. It sort of depends. Sometimes a great melody can come just like on the spot, boom, boom, boom. And sometimes you can noodle around with it. I think it's a mix of the two. I think it's a mix of the two where you're looking to find something that feels really good that you're like, I want to keep singing that. I like that. You got to know what you like. You can do a mixture of the both. You can fabricate it through, just making something work, and then you can also do it by just playing around and finding something that sounds great. But mixing the two together can be very powerful because you can be deliberate in it, or you can refine something that way. Like I was with my buddy Tom the other day, and I do a pretty good job of like, I can be listening to a piece of music and then and be like, hey, how about this? Like, and just go into it because I'm like very simple. I'm very simple minded in my way of approaching melodies, much more simplistic than a lot of people, I think. And I like that. We have a question up here. How do you go about selecting songs from your catalog to go on an album? I think the best way to select songs to go on an album is to get distance from it. The more distance that you can get from the thing that you've created, the better, because then you can approach it and listen to it like you're a fan. You want to be listening to anything that you're creating like a fan, because that's how other people listen to it. They listen to it without context necessarily. And so the further, like Rick Rubin talks about this a lot as far as like trying to get distance from the thing and then listen to it again. And you can get much more clarity around not what is not working, but what it is that is really working for you. And so if you create a bunch of music, then you can look at it as a whole and say, oh, this one's great, this one's great. You can basically get much more clarity. And especially if you're working in a collaboration with other people, that can be really powerful too, for being able to have other people's perspective on that as well. Because other people's perspective, it matters. Oftentimes the things that reach the most people are not the things that an individual thought was going to be the most reaching of people. In your opinion, what separates good production from great production? Good from great production. Well, the less elements that you can use as focal points inside of your production make it sound the strongest. So, because the less you have, the more specific it is. Now, you can have a lot of little bells and whistles that are reinforcing certain things and that are amplifying certain things or creating certain vibes and energy, but really the song should be able to live on one instrument, and that's the underlick, not the drums, just on the underlick. And if you have it live just on the underlick, then it's going to be way, way, way stronger, and then everything you do is only in support of that. One thing that you can do that's really cool is, if you have an underlick, you can have like musicians come in and do multiple different types of performances over that and just add to it and like do it way overkill and then turn everything off and then only turn on certain elements. I'm watching a great Mix with the Masters interview with Benny Blanco and Phineas, and they are talking about how they do that. I've been doing that since probably 2008 or something. Just going in the studio, especially when you have really great musicians with you. If you have some friends that can play a certain thing, like whatever it is, if you can let them just go and like do their thing on it, let them figure it out and just play, you can get some really cool moments, and you don't need to use all the moments. You can just pepper the moments throughout the music and amplifying certain things and just giving a little bit of ear candy, a little bit of this, a little bit of energy, and then it makes the thing that you're doing that's really simplistic very, very interesting because it's unexpected, but you're keeping the foundation really simple. Okay? You like that? I think that's a cool way of going about stuff. Is there a strategy to get around writer's block? Yeah, I mean, I don't think writer's block is a real concept. I think that's just lack of consistency is really what that is. Because with anything in life, especially creatively, but anything really, whatever you do on a regular basis becomes habitual. Habitual just means your life. It's just what you do. So if you do something a lot, you will start to become desensitized from it in a great way or in a not great way. And so the key is to desensitize yourself from the things that you want to do that can have barriers. And that simply just means by doing it a lot and be doing it really consistently. And so if you're feeling like a block, I know the feeling of being blocked, but that really just is usually just the feeling of like being out of shape of doing the creative work. So doing it more consistently, and even that's just a little bit each day, is way, way, way more powerful than doing it in big chunks here and there. So the more consistently that you do that, the more it becomes just a flow, a river, an endless well of creativity flowing through you. I find when I sing, I always tend to sing the bass notes of the chords. How do I make my melodies more interesting when I tend to sing the easiest notes? That's a good question. Try to do this. If you have a melody, sing the melody over and over again. Just sing it over again and let the chords change. Like don't change with the chords. I mean, that's probably the biggest unlock I could possibly tell you is don't change the melody that you're singing, because what will happen is you will naturally start to what's called reharmonize the melody, because the chords will be just changing underneath it, which is probably the biggest technique that most people are not using in their music making. I would say do that. Reharmonization is like can relate it to your life. It's like living the same life over and over again, but just a little bit different. Makes it feel a little bit fresh. So I'd recommend doing that. It's very powerful, and you can also, if you want to get out of your way, you can use a tool like, you make your melodies in the computer, use the MIDI editor, or go into like Hook Theory or whatever it is and play around in there, because then you can just disconnect from. The thing is, a lot of people when they're making music, they're too intertwined with the way that they normally do things. And when you're too intertwined with it and you're not visualizing it, you might just do certain things habitually that you're not paying attention to. And this may always happen. So the key is to try new ways of going about things, new instruments, new different ways of approaching things that force you into a new world. If you think of like, there's a lot of like bands when they get together, like I remember the story of REM, and it was on like, I think it was Losing My Religion was like the first song they did where they just switched all their instruments. And when you switch your instrument, you are able to unlock certain parts of your creativity, because you have to figure out how to do the instrument and how it will work. If you're like a bass player trying to play a mandolin, you're going to play stuff really differently than a guitar player is going to. And so I'd say when it comes to melody, just switch up your method of how you're doing it. That's a huge unlock. Huge unlock. Have you helped any big bands out? If so, what bands? Yeah. Depending on what you're like, how you explain what helping out means. Yeah, I was explaining to Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother, maybe a month ago or something about the underlick. I helped him. I helped David Guetta, who's the biggest DJ in the world, understand some music theory stuff. I was just giving feedback to this artist named Rye the other day. So yeah, I do stuff. I kind of like to make music on my own mostly, though. I do like to collaborate with other people, but I've found that I have the most fun making music on my own, just for me personally. But I do like making music with other people. I personally enjoy music so much, making music, that I'm not interested. I've never really been interested in having it be work, if that makes sense. A lot of people they do music for work, and that's not how I like to do music. I like to do music for fun, and because I enjoy it a lot, and I enjoy the love of music. And so I love helping other people make their music sound better and give them more tools to do that, because that's just more satisfying to me, and a lot more satisfying to me. And because I've put out music for multiple decades, almost 3 decades, done music and have been signed and gone on tour and done all that stuff. And I've done that before, and I still do that. I put out a song the other day, like an instrumental weird ass thing, just for the sake of doing it. And maybe I'll get in rooms eventually and do certain stuff. I can use this platform to use a lot of leverage to do certain things, but I'm just I don't know. I think I'm too weird for certain people in my approach to things. I like to hang out with friends, honestly, more than anything else in my family. So, out here in LA, the music business is a little bit of a weird business, to be quite honest. It's how I feel about it. So I like music too much to have to do it as my job. I like to help people at scale, is more fun to me. Yeah, and I'm also a music video director. I mean, I'm not really doing that anymore, but I used to. I've done some big music videos too, so I love doing all that. I'm so very frustrated what to write, because I gotta write too much. Verse, chorus, then verse again. Well, you can keep it simple. Simple is great. Simple's honestly Simple's the best. If you can do simple, like you rule the world because simple means that other people can simply understand. How do you break writer's block? Like I was saying before, you don't allow it to be a block. You just keep doing it. You just move right through it. It's like how do you run if you only want to? How do you run if you're only walking? Well, you got to start running just a little bit. Just keep going. How to match my lyrics to an amazing melody. The melody is everything. I love 21 Pilots. They are the reason I started trying to make music. Their melodies are amazing and reinforce the lyrics. Yeah. My buddy Eric, who I've known for like 20 years, he produced 21 Pilots' really big album, most of it, the blurry faced one. And so funny, like the stuff that effects that he was using on there, he's been using those for years. We used to have the same manager. Yeah, when it comes to, everyone's got their own process for doing things. I mean, the key is to be able to lyric and melody at the same time just because you can tap in at the same time, but it doesn't have to be. One thing you can do is something called a lyric map where you basically write down lyrics. You have basically a little bit of a guide on a paper that has like a certain number of syllables laid out, and you can just say, I'm going to write words that match those syllables, because if you write words that match the amount of syllables, it's a lot easier to take the words and then put them into a melody that sounds way better, because great melodies are really just great rhythms or simple rhythms. And most people flip it and they go, no, it's about what I'm saying. But if it's about what you're saying, it makes the melody secondary to what you're doing. And then it makes it really hard for people to listen to it because you're trying to you're trying to say stuff, and it's not allowing the words to actually shine, because melody is a much more universal language than words. Words are really powerful, like absolutely. Words are the best. Words are like the most powerful tool that humans have, like figured out, like to communicate shit and tell stories. However, melody and the organization of vibration and frequencies is a lot older than words, like a million times older, not like maybe a billion trillion times older than words. Words are brand new in context to that. So that's why people remember music in any language very easily. Do you do consult critiques songs? I have certain programs where I have people come in and do that, but it's not a thing I do one-to-one with people, just because it's very hard to scale doing that. Because it just takes time. We're only here for so long. Melody comes first, Logan. Yeah, I mean, melody can come first, but words can come first too. Some of my, writing words down in the morning is a really great habit to do. I recommend doing that even before melody, just to get it just flowing through yours. Because if you have a melody that's cool, but you don't have any words, then it's like, then people it's hard to care about it. You don't have a reason, So it's finding a balance. You got to find your own way of doing it that works. There's different methods that you can try to help you just become, make it easier for you to get in that flow. Doing it all consistently is really the key. I know you're doing something, but can I get a tour of your synthesizers? Yeah. Well, I'll just point to them over here. Let me aim this camera. It's so on top, that one is called a Behringer Pro 1. It's like a copy of a real Pro 1. It's great monophonic, super awesome for bass sounds and really tight, clicky synth sounds. Really hard to get it to sound right, but it sounds insanely fat when you get it dialed in. It's so good on the bass. I've never heard a synth bass in the computer that has sounded as good as that, as far as the thickness of the low end of it. It's really nice. And then below that, we have the Behringer Poly D, which is another knockoff of it's kind of a mixture of a Moog Model D combined with a Juno. So it's kind of has it's got the chorus on it is that of a Juno, but it's polyphonic opposed to being monophonic, which is what a normal Model D is, like the one above, right? And then that's a Kemper right there. It's for you to plug your guitars and whatever in, and I got a bunch of pedals. What else do I have in here? I have 3 different keyboards that are just. This one's a MIDI controller. That one's like a rinky-dink piano sound that sounds very not cool, but I've had that piano for 15 years. Yeah, I don't know. I've had I honestly grew up in a home where in my living room, my dad had keyboards set up. Like when I was growing up, there were the keyboard stands, full size, with stacked keyboards in our living room growing up. That's where my dad had his keyboards. DX50, I forget what he had, but like ridiculous sound. So I love the ridiculous sounding like 80s keyboards are like my favorite to play on. Just that's what I love to do. It's just a fun thing. Reminds me of my dad, and yeah, it's fun. I just love just learning to create more and play. I've always just loved to play. Yeah, synthesizers are really fun. There's a place in LA called the Vintage Synth Museum. I've been going to this place before it was in LA when it was up in the Bay Area where I'm from. I was going there for years. This guy named Lance runs it, and you can go there and play on all these old keyboards, and they're all hooked up, ready to go. It's very fun, and yeah, it's really cool. You just go in there and just play around, and you can record. I've recorded those keyboards as well. I need to do that soon. Just do a day in there. I've been thinking about doing workshops in there, honestly, and bringing people like in LA in and just hang out for the day. I've had that idea too, which I'll do that at some point. You know, we'll hang out, we'll make some underlicks, switch up the keyboard sounds and stuff. That'd be fun. But yeah, in person, I like that. Okay, ask me more questions, guys. I'm going to go to another one that's on my screen. I guess what makes a song, what delves deep emotion with people? That's the question. I'm going to read, that's what the question is. So I'm going to try to answer that. What makes a song? Well, a song is, in a technical sense, is words and melody. So, like, it's not even notes. It's really relationship. Like, it's a relationship of pitches. You know, in any given moment is what a melody is, and then words. You know what words are. That's what a song is. And what delves deep emotion with people? Delves deep. I don't know. Anyways, you know, people listen to music in all types of ways, and so. Some people just don't really pay attention to the words. Maybe they feel the words, you know, they don't necessarily like pay attention. Think of like The Matrix. You might be watching The Matrix and you're like, this is an action movie. And then somebody else is like, this is my life. Different types of experiences of the same thing. I really believe though that when the words have emotional like truth to them and weight to them, and there's, you know, great stories are always overcoming some type of pain. And so that's really the journey. And if that enters into the song, you're going to basically resonate with other people that can feel that, because there's some people that listen to songs and they're like super laser beam on the lyric. Laser beam on the lyric over everything else. And yeah, I think that's even becoming more of a thing, you know, just like because there's AI can already write really like solid melodies and stuff. And so having truthful lyrics that come from a real place, ideally, because if you're going to be singing the song, might as well have it be something that you care about. Anyways, I think when you do that, you're vulnerable and you put something on the line, it naturally resonates with people much more because you're sort of speaking for them in many ways through the song. So, I mean, that's a really big thing what, like, you know, music can do. It allows you to sort of connect in with people in a magical way. Keep asking questions, guys. I'm going to go to another one on here. How to get melodies you already know get out of your head when trying to write original I don't know what this question is. Okay. What do you think of the work I have done before doing her? I don't know. Okay. How to create. I'm reading you questions that people ask me, guys. Words that scare you? Cool. Yeah, that's a good little exercise. Here's a question I got. Can I do it? That's the question. And the answer to that is absolutely. You can do it. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to do it, just do it. Just do it. Okay, moving on. What's your goal with your music right now, and how do you find it? That's a good question. I appreciate the personal questions. I could sit here and talk about melody shit all day, but I'm trying to expand my brand, guys. My goal with music right now, has mostly been helping other people with their music and making it so when I help other people with their music, it just makes me have more space to make whatever I want to make. That's really what it is. I like to make music and consistently put it out with no expectation of how it's to be received other than that I enjoy it. That's really it. So, someone's asking, where's George, Logan? George is in my mind. You're talking about George Harrison. That's where he is. He's living in my mind, playing those beautiful melodies in between the notes of Paul and John. Here's a question. It's actually not a question. It just says personal journey. Personal journey. My personal journey, man, that's a long story. But, you know, I am somebody that grew up in a house where there was music always happening. My dad was a songwriter, creating his music before I was born, when I was little, and then grew up with that. I started playing the drums and producing songs in my garage. And then when I was 16, my dad was killed in a crazy police brutality incident. And after that, I just kept making music and playing in bands and producing bands, releasing albums. And then I went to college for doing audio engineering and producing. And then I graduated from there and started a band. We were making music on the computer with trying to dial in our music, and we didn't really have any success with it. And then we just started really dialing in the songs. And then we finally cracked through, and I was also directing our music videos. We cracked through, and our music spread all over the internet, blogs all over the place, hundreds of blogs all over the earth. And then we sold out our first show that we ever played to 400 people. That band's first show, and we got signed, played big festivals, opened up for Paul McCartney of the Beatles, and did all that, and then started helping other people, and I started helping you guys, dorks. No, I started helping other people, and I've always made videos and stuff, so just helping people do stuff. Actually, we're gonna bring. Oh, let me see if this will work. Will I be able to hear? Let's try it. Let's bring somebody on. That's actually what I wanted to do. Was to do that. So I'm gonna see if this works. See if I can hear you guys. We're gonna keep it short though, so the conversation doesn't get off the rails. So we'll just keep it quick. Let's see if this works. That's what I was thinking of doing. Oh, declined. Actually, I'll get on here and talk with anybody who. Let's try it out. I usually don't do that on Instagram Live, but I'm down to try that out. See, it's crazy. My account has 210,000 followers. But when you do a live, they don't push it out to people, very little, which is really interesting. So people just pop in here real quick. So let's wave to you guys. Yeah. And yeah, help people. And now we're sitting here doing this thing and just continuing the journey. I got some cool shit that I'm working on right now that's going to be trip people out in a very big way. I'm very excited about it. It's my own little, I'm birthing something soon. I'm giving birth to something soon. I'm having a baby. I have a baby. It's a baby me and you. It's a baby me in your pocket. Oh man. Yes. You guys are just on the internet swiping through. Look at this guy. What's he doing? Oh, what's he doing? Moving on. It's just so funny. I know what it's like to be on Instagram and be like, what is this shit? I'm like, what could I do on here that would be more interesting to watch? Fuck, I don't know. I mean, if I play music, they'll immediately take the live down in 2 seconds. So I can't do that. I can answer questions, which we're doing now. That's cool. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything. I think I'm just gonna keep doing this, I guess. Let's see what other questions I have. Lord of the Underlicks. Yes. I created the word underlick in 2019. That's when I created that word, a long time ago. Jack, is the AI? Yes, it is. That's what I'm coming out with that soon. It's a new Vibe Check version 3 is a AI version of it. It's me, but it does a lot more than that. You can ask it anything about the checklist, and it'll talk about anything you want. So you can talk to it. You can talk with me in unlimited quantity. So. Yeah, I'm launching that soon. I've been working on that a lot. I've been building the brain and building that. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty wild. It's cutting edge. It's pretty cutting edge. I'll let certain people use it early on to try it out. So if I see, you think this is a good idea to produce a song having another one for reference, like Nirvana's song, for example? I don't love that idea. That can be cool. Just be careful. Just don't get too obsessed with it because it's never going to sound like it, and you don't want it to anyways. Just be careful. Just be careful that you don't overly try to make something sound like something else, because you ain't going to make it sound like that. And honestly, that's something what will make it cool is that it doesn't sound like it. So I just recommend doing You do you and have those ideas in your mind. It's nice to reference stuff. It can be good. Level up what you're doing. I reference shit. I've always referenced shit. I go in the studio, bring some 1975 drums in there. I'm like, listen to that snare. Just it's like you're not gonna get it though. So just be cool with that. You're not gonna get it. And some people like to go in the studio and they'll be like, let's try to make a song like this. I hate that shit. I don't like that. Not for me. I think it's just like messes the whole vibe up. I'd rather discover. I'd rather discover what is what the song is supposed to be, or the record is supposed to be. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to another question. If you get okay, I'm gonna keep going on here. How did you get to be so confident on camera? How did I get so confident on camera? A very specific way. I deleted the fear. I deleted the fear out of me. About 2 years ago, I got very specific, realizing that if I can delete the fear of being on camera, you can basically reach all the people that you need to reach or that you'd like to reach with whatever message you have. And so I was very aware of that. I'm like, oh, okay, so we just have to do this so many times that it doesn't feel like anything to be on camera until you completely forget that it's a thing. Because most people, they can't connect with anybody because they're afraid to see themselves. And that's the truth of it. No one would say that, but like, I see you. I know because, and not a lot of people talk about it on social media. The way to delete the fear is to do it so regularly that your body becomes so used to it that you can't fight it anymore. Basically, like the way that I spoke about this to myself is I'm going to kill the fear is what I said. I'm going to delete it. Because I saw that I'm like, oh, if I can get rid of that, then I can do all types of stuff then. And so I just like, okay, so all we got to do is just do it enough. One thing I would recommend to do is to like take your phone out and just talk to your phone and speak your schedule into your phone every day. For like, to say, hey, I'm going to go to like work and then I'm going to like come home and make some dinner and then I'm going to do this and then just stop recording and then shut it and don't watch it. Because if you do that, what will happen is your brain will start to get used to it. The key is to get because here's the deal. Your brain doesn't care how you feel. Okay, your brain is a tool; it's just an organ, and so the key is you want to take your brain and you want to make your brain focus on certain things, and then you want your body to just start taking the actions on a very regular basis, so that it gets so used to the action that you're taking that there's no room for fear anymore. And that may sound like floaty; it's not. It's like if you simply do stuff a bunch, it will not be scary anymore. Period. And that may seem like, oh, that makes sense, but how do I get going? If you just do it a little tiny bit every single day, it'll expand. This is the key to changing your life, is to do something on such a regular basis that you just break it down and you discover that it's not actually something to be afraid of. That's the key, because fear of like the idea of what you have in your mind as far as your limitations is based off of your past, okay? And the key is to have a larger future in your mind than you are, create basically a scarier future that you're moving in the direction of, and then reframe your past to be something that is where you focus on all the accomplishments of your life to where you are now. And if you do that on a regular basis and you create something that's a way bigger goal than you feel that you're ready for, and you make the deadline for it much sooner, your brain will have to go into a mode of figuring out how to do that. It has no choice. And so you have to take your brain and you have to say, brain, you're going to focus on this. So like what I do every single night before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, I have videos of me communicating to myself about things in my life that I love, things that I value, things that I desire, things in the future that I desire. And I listen to that. And I even have a video. I sometimes watch the video, but it's just me talking to myself. And I just listen to this sometimes I've iterated on it like 8 times in the last month. And so I just listen to this on a loop. And then right before bed, and then right in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I listen to it again, because your brain doesn't give a shit. If you basically tell it this is what's happening and this is what your life is, you will just start to make your current reality has to catch up with the vision in your mind. And that works also for the shit that you're afraid of. You will also move in the direction of that as well. You will move in the direction of what you don't want simply by thinking about it. So if you get off of me talking about this and you go scroll and you watch some other shit on Instagram, and it's like that, like it leaves you with a feeling that doesn't feel awesome. And to be honest, Instagram makes me feel way more shitty than if I go on like TikTok or something. But I don't know, to each their own. Whatever, the algorithm's just simply feeding back to you whatever you're focusing on. If you allow that into your brain, you will start to basically bring those things into your reality. That is how it actually works, because you don't experience the past and you don't experience the future. You only experience now, ever. You're only experiencing now. That is the absolute truth, because it's all in your mind. And so basically when you think about anxiety, you have two things. You have anxiety and you have fear. Anxiety is basically this idea of what something that is being afraid in your mind. Fear is if there's a fucking alligator in front of you, okay? That's different. Right? That's where that's actual fear. Anxiety is just a thing, as a story that you're telling yourself in your mind about what the future is going to be, but the future doesn't exist. And the more that you focus on the future of being something that is actually what you're moving towards, your current reality changes. I know that's like out there sounding, but that's how it works. And so the key is, you can simply reprogram your brain. I would recommend everybody to do this. Create a voice note for yourself, or go on ChatGPT. I don't give a shit. That's what I do. Go on ChatGPT, input a bunch of information of like, I love this, I love this, I love this, I want this, da 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 da. And you basically create a script for yourself, and then you listen to that script on you record it on your phone. You could put it on a video, or you could put it on the voice notes app. You listen to that script before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning, and just keep doing it. It doesn't even take that much effort. It's like kind of simple. If you can create the habit of that when you're brushing your teeth, and you know that you're brushing your teeth, because you better be brushing your teeth when you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning, just listen to it and just be like, okay, yeah, that's what's happening. Your brain doesn't give a shit. Your brain's just going to move towards whatever you tell it to move towards. Like, it doesn't care. And so you get emotional about whatever stuff that you're like trying to think about and figure out. But the key is just program your brain to focus on what it needs to be focused on. Whatever opportunity, whatever stuff. And then, because your subconscious mind is infinitely more powerful than your conscious mind. Like, your thoughts were like, I'm thinking of this thing. Like, think about it. When you drive in a car, you got your foot on the gas, you're eating a donut, you're smoking a cigarette. No, you're not actually, but you could be smoking a cigarette. You can do all this shit at the same time. And that's your subconscious mind basically doing all that work, right? It's like the self-driving car. It's just doing all the stuff. You're going through the toll thing, it's turning the radio up, it's talking to your friends, waving out the window, all at the same time. And that is your subconscious mind doing all that work. And so you want to reprogram your subconscious mind to be focusing on whatever you want to do. And then it'll just find opportunities for shit all over the place. So I'll leave you guys with that. This has been fun. We'll do this again. I'm going to do this on Wednesdays. So this is cool. I'm going to throw this on YouTube too. I put a YouTube video up today. I'm just making long form because I have to build trust with people, guys, because we're on Instagram. So I need to build trust. And the way that you build trust with people is through time spent with somebody. You know that. All you got to do is spend just enough time with somebody to build trust with them. And Instagram can be hard doing that. So I'm working on that. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. And stay tuned. The Vibe Check 3.0 is going to be soon enough, will be coming out, and you'll be able to talk with me all day long in your pocket, and I'm going to get you to fucking go crazy deep into your mind. All right. We're going to make a massive hit song, maybe. Okay. You should make a video about this. I did. I'm filming on my fancy camera too. So appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon.